It's been a long time, guys, but I am back because it's the first Saturday of the college football season. We know nobody cared about those week 0 games. Hell, nobody cared about these last 2 nights either, right? But I've got 3 complimentary plays for you, and I'm on a 60-37 run with the freebies. I'm going to be taking a look at Penn State, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Buffalo, and Washington, Boise State. But first, quick little story for you. You know, I got into this business way back in 1983 because boys and girls, before the internet, before cell phones, before even sports pagers, if you remember them, gamblers used to get their information by calling 976-1313, dial sports. And I was the weekday anchor Monday through Friday for their Philadelphia service, where every single half hour from 10 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night before the scores began, people would call and they'd get all their local information for their local teams, Phillies, 76ers, Eagles in my case, and they'd get their injury reports, their Las Vegas odds, and they'd get their gambling picks all day long. And for that privilege and for getting the scores at night, they would pay 15 cents a call. Can you believe it? People, zillions of them, were paying 15 cents a call to get that information. I mean, times have certainly changed. Hell, at that time, I was working my way through college, selling high-end audio equipment, and yet what was flying out of the store were Sony Walkmans. I mean, compact disc players had only come out a couple of months earlier. My new 1983 Honda Accord, a beautiful 4-door sedan, a stick shift. I don't know why I bought a stick shift, because I didn't even know how to drive a stick shift at that time. It took 4 months to get that damn car to come in. My dad had to drive it at home, and my girlfriend had to teach me how to drive a stick shift before I could drive my brand new car. Cost a whopping $8,900. $8,900. Last year I bought an Audi S6. The MSRP was $89,000. Yes, times have changed, but one thing that has not changed, guys, when it comes to gambling, and this is the thing that I've been saying to you over and over again, in all the years that I've been in this industry, from the time I had my nationwide sports talk show, for the 22 years since I created these websites, is this, and it's very, very simple. The only time that we have the advantage over the odds makers, no matter the sport or season, is the first couple weeks of the season, because they don't know anything more about the teams or the players than you or I. We have the advantage. That's why you will see so many soft lines. That's why you will also see so many blowouts. Now, mark my word, for as sure as I am about that, you can also take it to the bank that that advantage disappears in a couple of weeks. And then those lines will get sharper, and the odds makers always will get a handle on things. But these first couple weeks, we have the advantage because the lines are soft. And on big cards like today, you will not only find soft lines, but you will find more blowouts than at any other time of the season, especially when the big boys beat up the little sisters of the poor in these non-conference games. And more about that in just a moment. But first, let's get to your first complimentary play. I'm going to take a look at the night game at Beaver Stadium. In fact, the first home opening game at night at Beaver Stadium since 2001, as Penn State is a 20.5-point favorite against West Virginia. The problem I always have with James Franklin betting on Penn State is that you never know if he's going to get the maximum effort out of his team. This guy has always had a lot of talent, but often it just doesn't translate on the field. But generally speaking, I think that you bet Penn State when they are playing a little sister of the poor or a non-conference game, and it's proven in James Franklin record, non-conference games, Franklin 31-18 against the spread. You want to bet James Franklin and Penn State against Ohio State or against Michigan? Be my guest. You won't find me on that bandwagon. Penn State doesn't have any look-ahead game. They only play Delaware Blue Hens next. This is the third longest tenured series in Penn State football history. It actually began, they used to play every single year from 1947 to 1992. That's the last time these two have actually met because of conference realignment, etc. Penn State has always dominated the series for what it's worth, which really means nothing since they haven't played for a couple of millenniums, I think. 48-9-2 straight up. Of course, Penn State has a brand new quarterback. But the key to this Penn State is really team is twofold. One, they've got a two-pronged running attack led by Nick Singleton, who had a phenomenal freshman breakout season a year ago, and a savvy veteran defense with 8 starters back. Now, West Virginia's coach, Neil Brown, 0-4 in road openers, 0-3 1-3 against the spread in those games. He's been very coy, playing it close to the vest. Who's going to be a starting quarterback? I say, does it matter? I think it's going to be a close game at first, but I think Penn State ultimately will pull away. And I can see something like a 34-10 score in this game. I mean, it's not going to be an overwhelming cover, but I can see Penn State getting the job done. Okay, next up is going to be your game between Washington and Boise State and Seattle. By the way, you see at the bottom of the screen, 1 day free all access pass. You want my best bet on the board and all the plays of all the handicappers over at DeMarcosports.com. If you've never used and taken advantage of it before, you can get all the plays for free. Normal price is $99. If you were to get the all access pass, you get it for free. Simply go to DeMarcosports.com. No strings attached, guys. The reason I've done it now for over 21 years is because it's the best way for you to sample the site by getting the flavors of all the handicappers and seeing what they've got, because you can't beat free. Okay, listen, this series has always been one-sided. They've met 5 times. Now, the last time was 2019. But, Washington has covered all 5. And here's the thing. I think a lot of people are expecting this is going to be the best Boise State team that you've probably seen in 3 or 4 years. And it may very well be. But this is a damn good Washington team. A Washington team that showed you how explosive they were offensively last year when Michael Penix came over from Indiana and took over the reins. And this team averaged 516 yards of total offense per game. And he is just one of 14 starters back. He's got almost his entire receiving corps back as well. Now, does Washington run the ball particularly well? No. That's Boise State's MO. What I would be concerned if you're a Boise State backer is that their quarterback who took over last year and really turned their season around as a freshman, Talon Green, very good dual threat, right? But more of a runner than a passer. And if you look last year, his average yards per completed pass, only 7.4. A lot of swing passes because he has 2 excellent running backs and a lot of checkdowns. Does he have the ability to stretch the field? New offensive coordinator, too, for Boise State. I think this is a huge step up in class too early on the road for Boise State. And if you remember that Boise State defense last year, they could not stop bigger teams or teams that tried to run the ball. I'm not saying Washington's going to come out and run the ball 37 times here today, because Penix is the key to this offense. But I think that this is a very competitive price for the far better team. This game is in Seattle, so it's going to be a one-sided fan base. Washington, I think, rolls here and pulls away, and I think Washington wins this one by 21 to 24 points. So that gets me to my final play, which is going to be Wisconsin and Buffalo. FYI, as part of that 1 day free all access pass today, I think there is one game today that's going to be a 34-point blowout. When I first checked the lines earlier this week, it was the one game that I isolated. Nothing has changed my mind as the week has progressed. And again, going by my blowout theory, I'm all in. I'm going to make it an ultra rare 30-dime play. This is the 22nd year since I created that website. It's going to be the 30th ever play this big, matching the biggest of my career. It's half price, or if you've never used the 1 day access pass, you can get it for free along with all the other handicappers plays over at DeMarcosports.com. The half price coupon is also available there as well. It goes on the early card. Listen, Wisconsin today is a 28-point favorite at home against Buffalo. The Badgers did not go and lure Luke Fickell away from Cincinnati with the big bucks to not beat the hell out of Buffalo. Fickell didn't go and pay the big bucks to get Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator of his staff, away from North Carolina to not beat Buffalo by big margins. Now, Longo, of course, is a guy who is going to spread that offensive attack. He's going to want to throw the ball more, just like he did with Derek May over at North Carolina. And he's got the right quarterback because they went and got, through the transfer portal, Tanner Mordecai from SMU. Now, the only bad thing about Mordecai is he is interception prone. Sometimes that happens when you throw the ball 60 times a game. I don't think that's what Wisconsin's going to do, because Wisconsin also has a couple of excellent backs led by Braylon Allen. Buffalo only has 5 starters back on each side of the ball. But listen, again, they are not going to be happy in Madison unless they win this game, I think, by 5 touchdowns. They're a 28-point favorite. You can do the math. Yeah, I think they're going to get the job done, and they're going to do it convincingly here today. So those are the three plays. If I had to rank them, I would say Washington would be number one, Wisconsin would be number two, Penn State would be number three. That'll do it. Good luck, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.